What's going on, team? Welcome back to another video, and today we are building our M50B30 stroker engine. And I'm really excited to finally have something that's hopefully going to be reliable. Dan's here with us. Hey Dan.
Hello.
How you going? Yeah, it's good.
Been a while.
It's been a while, but he's back from the snow. So first things first, we've got the engine out here on the stand. So we need to spray the engine with the greaser, and then we're going to water blast it, clean it all off, and then we're going to strip the whole engine down to a bare block. And I'll show you guys the rotating assembly that we have out of our M54B30 that's going to go onto this. So yeah, we're going to make sure that this is all sparkling clean. We've got to hone the bores, we've got a special tool for that, but we're going to walk you guys through every step of this build, and it's going to be a very quick turnaround. We basically need to have this in the car by next week, ready to dyno for either the end of next week or the start of the week after. So quick turnaround, but it's going to be awesome, and I cannot freaking wait to have 3-litre torque in my face. Alright, let's do it. Yes, Dan. First things first, degreaser. All of the degreaser. This is literally my first ever proper engine build. Doing it myself.
Doing it properly.
Yeah, I'm so excited about it. We've only ever used wrecker motors, so. Whew, time to blast it. Get it, Dan. Ugh. Cool, so we've got the engine back in the garage. It's all degreased so that we can spray it black when we've got it all apart. Now next we want to strip the engine completely. We've got everything set up nicely here on the table. Obviously we've got all the tools we need. Dan's got the impact wrench. Then we have a container here with separate compartments so that we can put everything separately and know exactly what we've got. Brand new piston rings, brand new rod bearings, some assembly lube, piston ring compressor so that we can put the new pistons into the bore, a bore hone to get the bores looking nice and shiny, a piston ring separator so that we can get the piston rings on to the pistons, some WD-40, 1000 grit sandpaper so that we can make the top of the block all shiny again, and the important stuff. So here are our M54B30 rods and pistons. So these are out of an M54 from an E46 3-litre engine, and this is what's going to make our motor be a 3-litre instead of a 2.5. This, and of course the crank, which is obviously the most important part, along with the pistons. So we've got to remove this gear because we won't be using it, because we've got an M50 block which doesn't have the sensor on the block, and then we can, yeah, we'll be throwing this in. So first things first, let's strip down M50B25. Off you go, Dan. First we're going to take the front timing cover off. Just a bunch of 10mm bolts. Alright, with a little bit of convincing, the water pump comes off. Look at that. That's why I needed convincing. It's so crusty. Yuck. Ooh, that's tasty. Let's take some of that. Alright, so we got all the timing stuff off the front. Really easy, to be honest. Just undo all the bolts around the timing cover, pull out this key from the front main seal on the timing cover, and then pull it all off. Yeah, really nice and easy. So now we're going to flip it over, and the sump is going to come off, and then we can start removing the rotating assembly. This is really fun. You having fun, Dan?
This is fun.
It's satisfying, hey? Yeah.
I haven't worked on a car for a while.
Yep, and this is just definitely something different. Alrighty, time to flip the engine and take the sump off. By the way, I've got to say these engine stands are like the best thing that you can ever buy. This is like $89 from Super Cheap Auto. So handy. Just makes, I've done a little bit of engine work with the engine kind of on the ground on a tyre. This makes life so easy doing it with the engine stand, so I highly recommend getting one if you're going to do something like this. Alright, time to pull the sump off. Alright, sump's off. So now it's time to pull the oil pump off. So you got to take this front bolt off here. Now this is reverse thread, so make sure that you remember that before you take it off, otherwise it's really easy to strip and that sucks. So take that off, pull the sprocket off the chain, all the bolts, take the oil pump off, whip this cover off, and then it'll be time to take the actual crank out of the engine.
How exciting.
It is great. By the way, all of the stuff in this engine actually still works really well. Like we could have put another piston in it and just sent it, but we want 3-litre goodness. We want all the torque. Alrighty, so we've got all of the oil pump stuff off, the cover off here, and we're in a really good spot now. We're just going to remove this front cover here, a couple of 13 and 10mm bolts. Just take that front cover off with the rear main seal. So I guess it's the rear cover. Lol. Whoops. Anyway, we're going to remove this cover and then we can go ahead and start undoing the bolts to remove the pistons and then remove the crank.
Awesome. Halfway there.
I know, it's crazy. It's actually going to be an amazing feat if we end up building this engine and putting it in and getting it on the dyno before Mount Gambier. But
how many weeks?
Essentially right from now it's 2 weeks. Oh, we would have left, yeah, we'll be leaving tonight in 2 weeks. But you know what, if we don't get this done, backup plan, T18.
Get it done. And there we are. The rear main seal is off.
Yep. So we're going to remove the rod end caps. They're a E12 Torx bit. It's very simple.
And how many are there, Mike?
I don't know. 2 per rod. Take the pistons
So how many
out.
is that, Mike?
I don't know. 12. There you go. Maths. Hey. I was never good at maths, alright? So watch this, pull one out, you undo it some, like this. Just give it a tap to get the piston down. Woo! They look like they're a little bit worn, eh?
Just a little.
Crank looks fine though. That's not what I make.
Oh, and
Wow!
where all the oil comes out.
Holy crap. Whoops.
But
Didn't know that was going to happen.
there is your piston.
Sweet. Bow chicka wow wow. Yep. We got all of the pistons out. And everything really is in great condition. Bearings are in good condition. Rings are in good condition. So we could have reused this whole engine really and just chucked a new and just chucked a new piston because this one had a valve. Again, we want the 3 litre goodness, so if anyone wants a 2.5 litre rotating assembly, hit me up. It's time to take out the crank, which is just 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 17 mil bolts. What size are they? Nope, that's 17 mil bolts. Boom! Alright, we're going to take the crank out and then we're going to give the block a clean up. Alright, let's get to it. Alright guys, so we've got everything out. We just need to lift the crank out. There are our main bearing end thingies. I actually don't even know what they're called. That's how much we've never built an engine before, so. But we're just going to lift this out, are we? I guess. Maybe?
Maybe.
Oh god, I'm nervous. Oh my god, it came out. Cool, come over this way.
Yeah, no worries.
Wow, and just straight down. Oh yeah, that is wicked. I'm so stoked. Alright, we're going to go ahead and clean this up, turn it over and start cleaning up the top of it, and then we'll hone the bores with a drill and this thing, which is a bore hone. Just goes up and down. Something like that.
What does it do?
So we just removed this ring from the crank and it sucked massively. Had these tiny little Torx bits, and the freaking Torx bit is so small that they just snap off inside the actual bolt, which is really annoying because they torqued up a lot, but we got it off, so hooray for us. Okie dokie, so we're going to hone the bores with our bore honing tool, which is just a sprung thing. A sprung thing with some pads that look like they do something. I'm just trying to pretend like I know what I'm doing. I've never done this before. So you need WD-40, which Dan's got. Get in the bores, boy. Lube it up. That's the one. And then chuck it on these as well, because I'm nervous. Alright, so just like that, which is scary as hell. You think? Alright, ready? 5 times up and down. Wow, look at that. She's fresh.
The difference between that one and that one
There's a lot.
is a lot.
And we're going to go ahead and do that to all of the cylinders. Alright, we're filming on my phone. Alright, we're going to spray the block black quickly before we chuck the crank in. Yeah. High temp paint, by the way, because your engine's probably going to get a little bit warm. Alright, the block is sprayed. Looks brand new. So good.
Looks
Obviously
so
I've still got to sand down the top of it for the head gasket, but we won't do that quite yet. So now we're going to flip it over and put the crank in. 3 litre crank. We have to remember which one's which. That's a 3 litre crank. Alrighty. Looking good. So now we're going to use our assembly lube, which I've never used before.
Oh, they've never happened.
I've used lube before, but I've never used assembly lube before. Keep it in your pants, guys. Alrighty. It's red, so that's, I don't know if that's a good thing or not. Alright. Here we go. So, see in other videos, I just put a dab in the middle here. Just like that. Just like that, boys. Little dab. Don't go overboard with the lube, boys. There we go. Oh, one more, that one. One more. Nice. Just had a bit of a milestone in my life. Used assembly lube for the first time.
Again, that's how you hack.
Wow. Cool. Ooh. There we go. I was like, it's not spinning very freely.
It's fucked already.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't say that.
Stuffed already?
Stuffed already.
By the way, I'm not using this to tighten these down, I'm just taking the bolts down to where they begin to get tight. And now we use a torque wrench.
So what are we doing, Mikey?
Alright, so we torque these main bolts down to 20 Newton meters and then 50 degrees. Whatever the hell that means. Alrighty, so the crank is installed. It's all good. And she spins freely. Whew. Alright, so that's where we're at the moment. This video will carry on tomorrow because I want to get the whole rotating assembly in for this video. But I'm going to go take Dan home now, have some food and go to sleep. But I'll see you guys in the morning. Pew! And just like that, it's another day. So right now, what I'm going to do before I start putting the rings into the new pistons is I'm going to get the top of the block looking all brand new again by using 1000 grit sandpaper on a block, WD-40 on the top, and just scrubbing down until we see the factory marks on the block all the way across. And that's all we need to do for this side of things, and then we'll go ahead and get the pistons prepped so we can put them in. Obviously the crank's down there, spinning all nicely. Loving life, yeah. Cool, pretty happy with that. That's about as far as I want to go. So now we can see all of the factory kind of marks on the block. We know that it's nice and smooth. We can move along now and start putting the piston rings into our new pistons, which is something I've never done before, so this should be a little bit of a fun wee project to get done. I'm a little bit nervous, but it's going to be fun. Alright, I'm going to be honest with you guys. Before we go ahead and start this, I did try one out and make sure that I'd got it right myself before I went ahead and told you guys how to do it, because of course I don't want to tell you guys how to do the process wrong. But let's have a look at this. Whew. First piston and rings are in and spinning, so that's a good sign. But we'll go ahead and do the rest of them. Alrighty, so we have our piston here, and then we're using Mahal piston rings. These are labelled for our convenience. A, that's for the oil ring that goes on the bottom. B, for the middle ring. And C, for the top ring. So you really can't muck this up, which is great for people like me. Okie dokie. First ring we're putting on is the oil sealing ring. That's this weird little thing here, hard to get the focus. So this just pulls out like this. I've never seen them like this before. I think this is quite unique. So it just goes on the bottom. This goes through here. You close it up just like that. And then this wee guy goes on the outside. And for that, I have a piston ring expander tool. Shout out to Vass for lending me this tool. But this just literally goes something like this. It's hard to do on camera. In here, you just separate it. And then this wee guy goes around that little dude that we just installed. Boom. Give it a wee spin to make sure everything's all good. Nothing's gonna get stuck. No, we good. Lovely. Alright, so that's the first ring done. Alright, second one, middle piston ring. B. It even says it here, so you can't muck it up. Alright, there's a little groove that you probably can't see too well, but the groove needs to be pointing downwards on the piston. That's called an oil scraper. Again, we are using our piston ring expander tool to expand it. Nice and easy, straight in the middle. Alright, that's the middle ring on. And then we have C, which is the top ring. And this ring is just a normal ring, no grooves. So that's just going to go straight in again with our expander tool. Expanding it. Boom. And that's it done. And now we're going to drop this piston into the engine. Alrighty, to put the piston into the engine, we have this little nifty tool. And what it does is, you close it up via this thing here with the ratchet. You just do it up. The circle gets smaller and it compresses the piston rings that we just installed on the piston, squeezes them shut so that we can get the piston into the bore. Super simple. Just set the piston in. Make sure it's nice and straight. Make it easier. Down there. Should just be able to push it down. Boom! Just like that. So we're going to go ahead and put the bottom rod cap on now. Literally again, assembly lube on our nice new bearing. Straight down. With our piston. We're going to torque these down later. Just nipped up for now. Beauty. And with every bearing we put in, we just make sure that the crank is spinning freely. Alrighty guys, last piston is going in. It is a very exciting moment. Just like that. Alrighty, so all of our pistons are now in. Brand new rod bearings. Now I'm just going to torque the end caps to spec, and then we can flip it over and rotate our new M50B30 engine for the first time. Alright, here we go. Ew! It works. That is awesome. Fun fact about when you do this conversion, it brings the compression of the engine down from 10.5 to 1 to 9.5 to 1, which is really good if you're going to be running a turbo, because you want lower compression with a turbo. This is so cool. I'm stoked. Yes. For anyone that's been here from the start, you'll remember that we started off by supercharging our 318i M40 1.8 litre engine, and now we're literally almost doubling that capacity by building a 3 litre turbo engine. We're pretty much tripling the power. We've got more than triple the subscribers on the channel. It's crazy how far it's come, but that's where we're going to leave it for part 1 of our M50B30 engine build. I'm very, very happy with the progress. This is my first time ever building an engine, and I've actually found it really easy. It's a lot of fun. You just got to have a lot of attention to detail and a lot of patience. But yeah, that's the hard part I think done. Now I've got to pull the E36 up. I've got to start pulling the engine out of that because I need that engine so I can put a lot of stuff from that engine onto this beer block. But we're officially 3 litre. So good. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you like, subscribe, follow me on Instagram at It's Mike Blake, and we'll be back for part 2 of the M50B30 engine build, and that's where we'll be putting all the stuff onto this engine, putting this engine into the car and starting it for the first time. So, and then next week we're putting it on dyno, so it all has to happen really quickly because we've got Mount Gambier event with Luke Fink, Adam LZ and all the rest of the boys coming up in 2 weeks. So yeah, we'll see you in the next video guys. Thank you. Peace.